All right, boys and girls, we're gonna make some watermelon souffle. Let's do it. All right, 7.5 FK Brno. This is gonna be cool right here. Let's do it. It doesn't matter how many watermelons I destroy, it never gets old, boys and girls. You can never destroy enough watermelons. You can't, okay? And I've got a really special pistol that we're gonna be checking out here today. This is a slightly different video than you're used to seeing from us in terms of handguns, but we really want to pay some special attention to this cartridge and this pistol. This is the FK Brno Psd. This is their new polymer frame version of their really popular field pistol. You guys are probably familiar with this gun. You've probably seen some, Instagram and Facebook posts and different things on social media, some articles and stuff. This gun has been a pretty hot topic because it generates a heck of a lot of power and it is a really, really nice setup. What makes this pistol so unique is the cartridge that it fires is a specifically engineered round to be an intermediate to long distance personal defense. It can defeat barriers. It's an excellent hunting pistol. I mean, the manual touts that this pistol will penetrate level 3A soft armor at 100 yards, which we are going to test at the end of the video. And it's just crazy. It's kind of like a miniature rifle cartridge in a handgun. Now, this isn't the first handgun to take on this type of an idea, right? I mean, even when you look at like the old school Tokarev pistols that fire the 7.62x25, bottleneck cartridges in a handgun are not necessarily a new idea, but they've definitely taken a lot of lines from some older cartridges and developed some new things. Their projectile designs are excellent. They're CNC machined, very, very high quality. This ammunition is relatively expensive, but the performance of this ammo is stellar, okay? We've done a good bit of chronograph testing, some accuracy testing, kind of getting an idea of what kind of power that this cartridge generates. And it is very, very impressive. There's been a lot of animals taken with this gun so far, and they've been very humane kills, worked out really well. I'll share a little bit of this data here with you. The field pistol, which is the all metal version, has a slightly longer barrel, a slightly longer sight radius, but also a considerably higher price point. They came out with this particular polymer frame version to come in at a little bit more affordable price point. And the weight of this pistol is considerably lighter than the all metal version as well. So you do cut down on the weight. The slide is cut for a slide rider. It does come with a pair of sights. Both of the sight sets, the tangent style ones as well as the peep sights, it does come with a second set of sights, are specially engineered sights just for this gun and for this cartridge. So really cool stuff. We'll get on to that in a minute. There's a lot of information to cover. So 6-inch barrel. So we've got 3 different varieties of ammunition that we tested here today, including one new variety that is very difficult to get right now. We've only got 1 box, but I think you're going to be really impressed when you see what this stuff can do. All right, so the S95 round is the jacketed hollow point. Now that's what we just shot at our Mr. Watermelon there in the intro. That's a 95 grain projectile, and we were able to chronograph that at an average velocity of 1950, okay? And extreme spread of 27, SD of 10. Average group size for the S95 projectile was about 2 inches at 25 yards bench rested. Pretty respectable accuracy, okay? So definitely getting into the level of accuracy you would expect out of a hunting handgun. At 100 yards, the S95 projectiles grouping a little larger, maybe 8-inch group. With good shot placement, you could definitely humanely take down a large animal, even out to 100 yards with this handgun with good shot placement. All right, the other projectile that we tested is what's called their M5 Copper Projectile. Now the data on that, we got out to 2009 feet per second, so definitely a steaming cartridge getting out of there. That cartridge is developing 856 foot-pounds of energy. So to put that in perspective, when you're talking about 10mm automatic, most of your 10mm auto loads are, I want to say, around 600, maybe 610 or 620 on the foot-pounds. No slouch, right, when you're talking about 180 grain 10mm. We'll get to that in a minute. There's a lot of cool things going on with this gun. So we'll touch on that real quick, the 10mm. So right now we have the 7.5 barrel in there. which is definitely like their all-star proprietary cartridge that is, you know, designed for this handgun. But it also ships with a 10mm auto barrel, which is really cool. So you can shoot 10mm out of this if you want. The magazines hold 16 shots, but on the 10mm you can only fit about 10 in here, just because of the limitations of the design of the magazine. But you can fit 16 7.5s in here. The construction of these pistols is really solid. It's basically like a big, beefed up CZ75. I don't really know any other way to explain it. You know, it does have this rather large area in here because it uses a proprietary recoil reduction system. So it does have to have a little bit more space for that to, you know, sit in here. You do have an accessory rail on the bottom, which is nice. The way that this gun feels is great. It's got a nice slim grip. You know, even though you have a double stack magazine with a generous capacity, you would think that this thing would be a little bulky in the hand, kind of like a Desert Eagle might. But don't think like that. It's not big and bulky like a Deagle. Just think about it like a big CZ75 and you're there. It is single action only, okay? There is no double action mode. It does have a manual safety. I do like how they added these nice like knurled tabs right here on the back, so if you're wearing gloves, makes the gun a little bit easier to charge. You do have rear and forward opposed cocking serrations for press checks, whatever you need to do. This pistol was designed as a military sidearm, and at the request of many military agencies, militaries, period, that wanted a pistol with more stopping power than a 45 ACP, more distance than a 45 ACP. And they didn't really want to exceed the recoil impulse of a standard 45 automatic. So they wanted a gun that they could, you know, increase the standoff distance with a handgun to a longer distance, right? I mean, you can take a 1911 and shoot 100 yards with it, but not with this type of consistency, and you're definitely not going to penetrate armor when you get there. So we are going to test that. I've got level 3A armor, and we'll shoot it at 100 yards. We've got a lot of things to shoot today. I'll tell you what, we'll save some of the talking points for a bit later. I'm going to go ahead and let's drill another watermelon since we're talking about the HTE here. Let me grab one of these out. Okay, so you know I'm really big about like what's on the box, right? So on the HTE jacketed hollow point, you know, it says defense, target use. Okay, cool. All right, when we step up into the high terminal effect and getting into the copper 95 grain, which we're about to shoot, it's got a bore on the box. Okay, that's cool. We get into the F9. What have I said in other videos? It's got a bear on the box. So they're kind of dropping a hint there that if the bear is climbing up the tree, he's trying to get you, that's probably the sidearm you want to have. Or, you know, hey, maybe if your game of choice is two-legged and they're hopped up on drugs, okay, there you go. You might have some, you might can stop a bear person depending on how deep down that rabbit hole they're willing to go. All right, we got another watermelon. Let's go ahead and shoot with the 95 grain all copper projectile. Yeah. 856 foot-pounds of energy out of a 6-inch handgun. That really doesn't weigh that much more than a full-size CZ75. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, son, get out of here. It split that watermelon apart. Like, I swear, I felt like I did that with my mind. Like it came apart like, it's so crazy. We're gonna shoot so much stuff with this gun today. You guys are gonna love it. All right, we're gonna talk about the F9 real quick. So the F9 projectile, we're gonna test it here in a moment as well. It was the most accurate round we tested, okay? So it comes in at 101 grains. The velocity on it, 1,960 feet per second. Extreme spread of 40 with an SD of 11.3. Average group size at 25 yards, 1-inch groups. Now we're talking. I did shoot the 101 out to 100 earlier. Man, it was just shooting so great. And then also with this particular round, the F9, here I'll show you. F9 is just a big old honking solid with a big old flat point on the top, okay? With the 101, I also noticed not only excellent accuracy, but we have the highest amount of foot-pounds of energy out of all three of these cartridges that we tested. The S95 came in at 813 foot-pounds. The F5 M5 came in at 856, and then this one came in at 858. So only a marginal amount more than the F5 M5 round. Now, I'll quickly kind of talk about why I think this projectile is great for a super wide variety of applications. One reason is it can't shrink or deform because it's a solid. So if you shoot this thing through an auto glass barrier or wood or anything, doesn't matter, it's going to have relatively straight line penetration. Okay, you guys recall we've done several videos before on like the Lehigh and Underwood offerings, which operate on a very similar premise. Being a solid, you know, those keys that are cut into the projectiles on like a Lehigh projectile, they provide a hydraulic effect as they enter a fleshy medium, as they create their own little individual air pockets that spread out and just cause really crazy things to happen. A flat point, the reason that you see a lot of cast bullets with a flat point is because a flat point is usually, like in a cast bullet, you're not relying on the projectile to expand, you're relying on that very abrupt flat point to displace a lot of fleshy material and create a really gnarly permanent cavity and a gnarly temporary cavity. Okay, now sadly I don't have gel today to test all these rounds in gel, but we're going to do a gel episode on this cartridge at a later date when I can procure the proper gel. But today we are going to be shooting through armor and all kind of other stuff too. So all right, I'm going to put this F9 round into our Mr. Watermelon down there, and then maybe we'll just compare all three shots, kind of see how they look. I've got a feeling that pretty much anything inside of 25 yards of a fleshy consistency better watch out, because probably not walking away. All right, I'm no rocket scientist, but you know, I observe what I observe. I do like a flat point. I feel like this round would be probably the best all-around projectile for a general use type of application, whether it be personal protection, hunting, shooting through barriers. This is a good jack of all trades. Now, will this 101 have the velocity to penetrate armor at 100 yards like they say? I'm thinking the faster round is going to be the, you know, the ticket for that, but who knows? We might be able to test them later in the video. So, all right, enough talking. 101 solid. The F9 projectile. This is an accurate and nasty little round right here. All right, let's take out Mr. Watermelon. Sorry, Mr. Watermelon. Not really. I'm not sorry. Okay, here we go. Got a little higher than I wanted to. Tell you what, I'm gonna shoot one more and hit it a little bit lower just for the heck of it. Okay, I'm gonna get down in the nitty gritty here. Sorry, I shot just a little bit high, fellas and gals. All right, here we go. Okay, I didn't really expect the F9 to really offer a lot of resistance in a fleshy medium. I know that may not be the perfect comparison, but we will be shooting some other objects in today's video. So I'll mention before we move on to the next thing, the sight picture on this gun is a little bit different than what you may be used to. You're really supposed to line the dots up instead of lining the front sight post up flat across the top of the sights like you would on just about any other type of handgun. It's really designed to kind of bury that sight and get the three dots going across in a straight line, and it does tend to bury that front sight in doing so. But what they want with that is a straight line sight picture, whether you're shooting 25 or whether you're shooting 100. It's supposed to carry that flatness all the way out to range, and I think that's why they did that on purpose. Now obviously if you put a red dot optic or something like that on here, you can zero that however you wish, but we don't have that. We're just running irons. Another really cool feature about this gun is they are going to be bringing in the braces. Okay, the braces attach here on the bottom of the pistol. And man, now this with a brace and maybe a little red dot or something, and sitting up in the deer stand on a, you know, 50-yard food plot or something, this is a great lightweight hunting pistol. If you don't want to tote around a rifle, or let's say that, you know, you're getting a little older and maybe you can't, you know, lug around a 10-pound rifle anymore, this is a great way to still be able to hunt and take game, you know, in a very humane fashion, but not have to carry around a very large or heavy pistol. And especially this gun in the polymer frame certainly is a lot lighter than the other field pistol. All right, this wouldn't be a proper video if we didn't destroy some sodas. Now, sodas are what they are, but we're gonna shoot the F9 projectile into a row of sodas here, just for some fun here. All right, here we go. Oh man, I swear, that is so much fun. And the crazy thing is, we didn't capture it on film because of where we got the cameras, but looking down range, that projectile went through all of those sodas, down range and hit the berm, and it pushed up a pretty good mound of dirt on the berm back there, even after going through all those sodas. So that is just crazy how that F9 round penetrates with so much raw, visceral energy just punching on through there. All right, guys, we've been doing a lot of fun stuff here with the FK Brno 75 pistol here. We're gonna be shooting a couple of pine baffle boards. They're 3/4 of an inch thick. And we're gonna shoot through a whole stack of them and see how many we can get through with these 3 rounds here. We've got the S95 first. Let's go ahead and put one in there. And then we'll do the HTE, which is the F5 M5, and then the F9. They went through a lot of effort to develop these cartridges and to develop this gun, so it'd be really cool to see how all 3 of them compare. Go ahead and give it a shot, see if we can connect. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. HTE, F5 M5, this is the all copper 95 round, 95 grain. All right, I'm gonna try to get through that bottom quadrant there, see if we can get a good capture. All right, that looks like that's probably a little bit closer where we want to be. All right, we're moving up to the 101 grain F9 projectile. I'm gonna go ahead and put this through the baffle here. I got a good bit of confidence we can do the job here. Let's see what this little puppy here does. Oh yeah. I think that we got through some stuff there. So, all right, that's all 3. Let's go have a look. Okay, so pretty interesting. I mean, we've got a lot of wood right here to shoot through. This ain't no joke. I mean, this is a considerable amount of thickness in these baffle boards. So our first round that we fired was our S95. It hit right in the center. I was aiming down here. The gun does shoot a little high if you don't have the absolute perfect sight picture. The round, and that was our lead core projectiles, the S95, and it went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, came to rest in number 7, and then there's our core. So it mangled it up pretty good, but there's your lead core left over from the S95, and that baffle looks like that. You can see where it hit right there on the edge of the board. Now, when I fired the second round, which was the copper solid, we got kind of a strange result. My first round did hit a little high. We sort of excluded this one. We thought it might have been an outlier. Ended up not being the case, okay? We connected with a good solid hit here with the F5 M5 round here on the bottom. And again, it traveled all the way through the entire baffle stack. So you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 3/4 inch pine boards. So don't hide behind a tree. It might not help you. All right, so then we proceeded to shoot the F9 round, and we got a nice solid impact up here on the top. Out of all of the rounds that we tested in the boards, if you look at the rear, especially like this baffle here, you can see that the expanding projectiles really blow the back of the board out really crazy, which is what they're designed to do. They expand and they create larger channels, sometimes a sub-channel if you got a little piece of jacket going through the wound channel, but they're designed to, you know, really blow it out big time, okay? With the F9 projectile, we got straight line penetration all the way through the wood, real clean, all the way through the entire baffle stack, okay? Actually, here is a piece of copper that shed from the F5 M5 round right here, okay? So there's a piece of copper. Okay, and then I've got another projectile here that actually dug its way into the last baffle stack. So I'll try to grab that out of there. You can see it deformed considerably, but there's your copper solid, okay? And that was the, you know, the one that was compromised. That's the one that went through this section right here, and we thought, oh, well, maybe it's not gonna shoot all the way through or whatever. It wound up just barely catching in the last baffle, and then our clean shot passed on through. So we had 2 clean pass-throughs, looking pretty good there. But we noticed on the F9, nice clean hole all the way through. Blew it out a little bit there. So with that flat nose bullet, you know, providing that straight line penetration, it does a lot of different things in a fleshy medium. So that F9 is a very useful bullet for a wide variety of different applications. I would love to test the F9 in auto glass. That's one area where a lot of projectiles fail, is in auto glass. We are going to do more testing. Let's go ahead and get on to the next thing. I can think of some other cool stuff we can do. Let's do it. We are going to shoot some body armor. I've got some level 3A second chance body armor. Now, it is worth mentioning, this armor is probably a little bit older, but it has been stored in a climate controlled environment. So let's see, 100 yards, level 3A armor, and we're going to use the HTE jacketed hollow point. So this is the, you know, lead core round. We'll see if we can connect. All right, so with the sight picture being what I explained earlier, I should be able to just bullseye the torso, and that round should just go right on in there. So here we go. Never shot this round at this distance. We're gonna give it a try. Ha! I think we hit that sucker on the first try, right in the center mass. Okay. Oh, poor Mr. Roscoe has such a tough job. I'm sorry, pal, but we had to do it for science. Okay, so did the round make it through the armor? Okay, well, we already looked. Spoiler alert, it didn't. It almost made it through. Now, the back of the armor took a pretty nasty, you know, nasty hole right there where it pushed through, and you can see on the dummy, it definitely is gonna hurt, okay? But I can feel in there, that jacketed hollow point round is in the armor. It did not penetrate the armor. All right, let's do the same test now with the all copper 95 grain and see if it penetrates the level 3A soft armor. All right, sorry, pal. We got to do it again. See if we can get in here. I'm gonna take my time. Hopefully we can connect here. That felt good. Let's see if we hit it. All right, guys. So did the copper round get through over the jacketed round, the jacketed lead core? Let's see. All right, we hit over here on the shoulder, but that's okay. We hit the vest. That's all we got to do. All right, here we go. You ready? Ow. No. You don't want nothing to do with that. Okay, so as advertised, it did penetrate the vest, granted with the correct ammunition. Level 3A vest at 100 yards with a handgun. That is pretty freaking impressive. That's one of the reasons that they developed this pistol, is to increase the standoff distance in urban environments and to provide military and law enforcement and civilians with a much better protective firearm that can really increase that standoff distance. I mean, that's a long way. Wow, that is really impressive. That round is definitely in his shoulder. I mean, you're definitely going to the hospital, okay? You're not shrugging that off. Now, even that soft point, you wouldn't be shrugging off. I'll tell you what, we're gonna reattach the armor. We've got the 101. Those were shooting so good at 100 yards earlier. Hopefully I can just lob one right in, hit it right in the center here, hopefully get a good center shot, and let's see if that 101 F9 gets through this vest at 100. Boy, I hope it does, because that's the round I'm really rooting for, so we'll see. Okay, last round of the day, the 101 F9. This is the one I really wanted to see what would happen at 100 yards on the level 3A armor. Man, could not have asked for a better center mass hit right in the center here. Okay, the big reveal. The 101 is in there, did not make it through. So the jacketed hollow point and the 101, the F9, will not penetrate the armor. The 95 grain copper round did. It's a pretty interesting gun. I'm looking forward to maybe doing some hunting with it, possibly this winter. There's some food plots I can sit on that are good distance to shoot this gun. We might try to make that happen. And I really do want to perform a little bit more detailed ballistics testing in gel in a future video, and maybe some glass, some auto glass testing. So let me get a few other things together. I got to go get some windshields and some other, goodies and get some more ballistics gel. I'll try to make that video like maybe in the next month or so. Bear with me on that. We've got a lot of pokers in the fire, but thank you guys so much for supporting our channel, for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's video. The FK Brno pistol is a awesome, awesome, awesome gun. I'd love to see an AR upper or some type of an AR. Maybe CMMG can get on that and get us a CMMG AR that takes those magazines or something. That'd be really cool to be able to, shoot this out of maybe a 10-inch barrel, a little bit longer barrel, get some more velocity, but not getting into that full 16-inch length. Although a 16-inch might really yield some crazy velocity depending on the burn rate of the powder. Who knows? Maybe a 16-inch barrel, this thing would be an absolute screamer. But I'd like to see maybe a 10-inch barrel might be kind of cool to get a little more velocity and still keep the rig kind of handy, and an AR would be neat. But very cool experiment. Guys, thanks so much. Definitely want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting what we do. Pick yourself up a t-shirt over on Ballistic Ink. All those funds go into supporting our channel. We really appreciate it. And also make sure that you follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We're on PARLER. We're also on the Jump app. Check out the Jump app. If you haven't downloaded it yet, it's awesome. It's a censorship-free platform, really good people, great discussions. Join us over there on the Caliber crew on the Jump app if you don't already have enough random social media accounts on your phone. But guys, thanks so much. We'll see you next time.